What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Greenroom with Jade Million. We are just doing a solo episode today, you and I. I had two amazing guests. Well, I had a bunch of guests on, obviously, last week, and then Drew before that. So I thought it was time to do another solo episode. And I actually want to just kind of do an episode where you guys get to know me a little bit more if you don't. So I went to my Instagram and I did a little post asking you guys to give me some questions to answer, and y'all came through. So there's some questions in here that I think are really interesting, and I think we'll just, help you guys get to know who I am a little bit. But before we do that, I've had such an amazing week, and I feel like I need to give you guys a little bit of a life update. So this past weekend, I performed my first original show of 2023. And it was a full band show with tracks. So what that means is, like, if you go and see somebody like Halsey or just like a big kind of like pop artist, they'll usually have a blend of a live band and their tracks playing. So it's just a really full sound, and it's what I see myself doing on tour and for the rest of my life. So it was super exciting. And I really feel like I have a group of people around me that are super solid and beyond talented. Like everything from my like glam portion of things, my stylist, Ellie, makeup artist, Haley, one of my best friends who's just like my rock, honestly, Elizabeth. She was helping a lot last year, just helping me organize my business. And she's just always there right next to me, cheering me on. She was there. And then my band that I performed with, Mick, who was on guitar, and my friend Ryan, who's also my producer, he was on drums and running tracks. So it was just such an amazing night. And I have done this quite a bit, but I can honestly say that my performance on Sunday was the best by far. Just even like mentally, I was in such a good place. And in the past, I think I was a little more uncertain of who I was as an artist. And in some cases, that would come through in really high pressure performances like this. And I would kind of let my nerves and just self-criticism get the best of me. And I really made it a point, like from the moment I woke up that day, to really just like prep my brain for the performance and get my mind right in the morning. So like I, meditated, did a lot of gratitude, worked out, sat in the sauna, just like really, really got my feet on the ground. And I think it just helped tremendously me go throughout the day, just enjoying each part of it, like having the luxury of like getting my hair done and getting my makeup done and having fun with every single person that I interacted with throughout that entire day. My rehearsal before the show, like me and the guys laughed the entire time. Like my stomach hurt by the time I left my rehearsal from laughing. And I was just like in such a good mood by the time that I got to the show that I was just so excited to perform. And I was the last performer, so I was like technically headlining. And the show was thrown by my tattoo shop that I do tooth gems out of. I don't know if you want to cut to the side camera, but I have tooth gems on my canine tooth right now that you could see. So I also run a tooth gem business called Jade's Gems, and it's another creative passion of mine. So I'm really close with all of them, and they asked me to perform at this event that they were throwing called La Vie en Rose. And it was really cool because a lot of the proceeds were actually donated to breast cancer. So all of the vendors there donated 20% of their earnings to breast cancer, which I just think is so amazing. And it was an erotic art show. So I fit right in. But there was a ton of music performers. There was pole dancing. There was like a fire show, and just a ton of like really cool pieces of art there, and just people, expressing themselves freely. And that's what I want to be a part of. And I love that Nashville had an event like that, and I was such a big part of it. So I crushed it, honestly. Like I was really happy with my performance, and we had so much fun. And right before we went on stage, my drummer and producer Ryan was like, can we have like a team huddle? And both these boys just blew me away, like with their words and their spirituality. And like we prayed beforehand, and it was just the most beautiful moment. And it was just so fucking awesome. And I really feel like it was a night that showed me what's about to come. You know, I feel like the people I have around me right now, hopefully are going to be here to experience even more amazing highs with me. And it was just like a warm up, you know? So it went great. I am actually dropping the recap video of it tonight, but Friday, so I did that Sunday. Friday, I released my new single called Warzone. And it was my first single that I released this year. So all in all, it was just like a really exciting weekend. And then we closed the show with that, and it was awesome. And then Monday, I woke up slightly hungover because I took a couple pre-show shots, post-show shots, and I had to film a music video because I'm doing something really special with this single. I don't really want to say it yet because I'm trying to shock people, but we filmed an insane video having to do with this single, and it is the direction that I see myself going as an artist. And I don't really like to put a box around what type of music I do. Actually, one of the questions in here, I'll talk about it more, but let's just say like the style that we did this video in, I've never felt more at home as far as like my connection to my own music. So it was just a really empowering weekend. I feel really, really good about this year and where my artistry is going. And I think it's going to be a really big year. So it was awesome. I just had an amazing weekend. Other than that, I'm just working my ass off still, like still single, still doing my own thing, just kind of focused on my work. If there's any updates with that kind of stuff, I'll be happy to share them with you. Oh, actually, I have a little something to share. I am single. So like, I just want to let you guys know, if you see me out at the bar and I am making out with somebody, okay? Guy, girl, gays, anything in between, like mind your business, because I'm bored at the bar usually. And if there's one thing that's going to make me have fun, it's like falling in love, just even if it's for the night. So if you see me having fun, just know you didn't, okay? That's all I have to say on that. We had a lot of fun after my show. I went out with all my friends, and it was a great time. So, but yeah, no, I'm just like fully out here living life and finding a lot of balance, which I really struggled with last year. I really, really felt like I couldn't find the balance between enjoying life, but also working hard. And I'm much more happy when I'm kind of more on the like discipline, working hard end. But then I notice I start to feel like I'm going to snap, and like that's never good. So I'm trying to incorporate, appropriate times to have fun. And that needs to be when I'm with people that I know truly love and care about me, and we're celebrating something. And yeah, it's just been really nice as I've gone through my 20s. I've noticed it's gotten easier to figure that out. So if you're in your early 20s and you're feeling like a mess, like I was there, and it took me a little bit to find the groove, but you will, hopefully. But let's get into some of these questions, you guys. Y'all came through. So I just have like screenshots here. So if it takes me a second to kind of figure out how I want to go through these, I'm sorry, but bear with me. But I thought we would start off with just a nice question. How are you? I love that. I'm really good right now. If you can't tell by that intro, I'm really, really happy, and my mental health is in an amazing place. And I think that's just come from a lot of trial and error of knowing what I have to do to make sure that I am, keeping my brain in good health. And I have my rough days, but I would say overall, I'm like really, really happy right now. So that's awesome. So thank you for asking that. All right. So we got two kind of similar questions here. So they said, your voice is amazing. Thank you. But what is your style of music? Is it country, pop, or modern rock? First of all, country, I don't know. No, I wouldn't say country. I think people see an acoustic guitar, which I've been playing since I was 7 years old, and they automatically would think country. But I mean, no, I'm definitely not country. If there's any genre that I'm not, it's that. But I'm not opposed to one day experimenting with that at all. Like, I loved country music when I was younger. I don't hate country by any means. I just don't find myself like drawn to it at this point in my life. But guys, fuck a genre, okay? Fuck a genre. Like, I'm done with the genre question. I feel like we've been able to get rid of like almost every label in 2023, but like, why is this genre thing still such like it's so weird to me because as an artist, I'm inspired by so much music and I'm a multifaceted artist, which seems to be really hard for like some people to wrap their head around. But I, play acoustic guitar. I love hip hop. I like work out to hip hop the entire time in the gym. If I'm on a walk, I'm listening to like Flume, EDM. Like, I love that kind of music. I love pop music. I love all these different kind of music. Why would I force myself to only do one type of music to make other people try to be able to understand me or like make it easier for them to push me or promote me or whatever? Like, I'm over it. Like, and if that makes it hard for some people in the industry, like, then it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry, but like, to me, that's just like, I don't really want to work with you then, because why? Like, my brain is thinking like big, right? The more genres that I can successfully do as an artist, the more opportunities in my head. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Also, like, to the person who asked this question, I'm just using this as a segue to kind of vent about something that like I've just dealt with a lot. So like, it's a totally normal question and I totally get why you would ask it. I'm not coming at you. I just am at a place where I don't have an answer and I haven't had an answer for a long time. And I'm finally allowing myself to be comfortable with my stance on that, which is like, I wouldn't really put myself in any genre, because if you listen to my catalog, you could find pieces of each genre. And I think that's fucking cool. So I said fuck a genre because I'm dropping merch in a couple weeks, hopefully. And the line is called Fuck a Genre. So there might be some pieces with that saying on it. If you connect, maybe you'll like it. You'll honestly see me wearing it on the podcast very soon. So just wanted to take that opportunity to let you guys know where I'm at with trying to put a label on my music. I'm not doing it. So, and then someone said, is there any genre of music you haven't gone into yet, but would want to try in the future? Like I said, everything. Like, I truly think that I could do every single genre. I really do. Well, maybe that's a stretch, but most of the big genres, I feel like I could successfully do. Like, I could see myself doing a country song one day with a country artist. I could see myself definitely, like, my biggest dream in the world is to do a top line with like a super successful DJ like Diplo or Flume or Millennium Chainsmokers, and like be able to perform that with them at a huge EDM festival. That is like a vision that like I get chills when I think about. I would love to do that. I would even love to learn to make that kind of music one day. I've definitely dipped my toe in hip hop. I guess right now, like, I just say that my music's very like Halsey, Post Malone, but they both do a lot of stuff too. So it's just kind of like very vague. And I think that's okay. What are some of your top influences musically? This like has always been an interesting question to me because I don't really look at a lot of artists' music and I'm like, ooh, I want to like be like them. Maybe Post Malone. He would maybe be one person, but that's more about his stage presence and his live show that I've see being very similar to mine because, you know, he puts on an amazing like full band track show, like I was saying, but then like he has that moment where he does stay and he pulls out his acoustic, and like I just did that kind of thing at my show, and it's always just so powerful to be able to have that more like intimate moment with the crowd. And I mean, that's my bread and butter. I've been doing that for 6 years, 6 days a week in Nashville. So I guess like Post Malone, but what I find more influential these days from artists is their mindset around their careers. So two people that instantly I'm like come to mind and I'm constantly talking about is Mike. He used to go by Mike Stud. I'm a huge fan of Mike. And I love his music. Like, don't get me wrong. I love his music. I listened to The Highs last year every fucking day, top to bottom. I would go on like walks every single day. I did 75 hard and I would go on walks every day and I would listen to this album, and it never got old to me. And that's so rare to me nowadays. So like his music's great, but his mindset and his spirituality and the place that he's gotten to with how he views a music career is incredible to me. I eat his shit up. His podcast, I literally paid for his subscription-based platform because I wanted more of his podcast, and he, genius move, moved it over to a subscription-based platform because what he says, like, it is so powerful. And if you're an artist, I cannot recommend listening to him enough. And he kind of has he had a stigma around him. I think that he had to really like work at breaking because he was very like college frat. He was an athlete first. So he played baseball and then moved into music when he got an injury, which I also just think gave him like a crazy perspective on things. And also, like, side note, I think athletes' mentality and musicians' mentality are very similar. Like, very, very, you have to have this kind of like delusion and obsession with your craft that are very similar. But anyway, he's just like so awake and in tune with the fact that as artists, we are just channels. Like, we're just vessels that we are getting creative ideas from whatever you want to believe in. And we are here to kind of get them out into the world. And that is our job. And he's really heavy on that and just kind of like being in flow with whatever your path looks like, right? Because, and that was really important for me. Like, I had to make a mindset shift in the last few years because if you would have told me at 18 that I'd be 26 and like didn't have a label, didn't have a song on Billboard, like wasn't going to Grammys, I would have literally bawled my eyes out like a little baby. Like, I would have been like, what do you mean? Like, what happened? You know, like I thought that I was just going to be the world's biggest star by the time I was 21. If I blew up when I was 21, it would have been bad. Like, it would have been really, really bad. I would have burned my shit to the ground. And like, everyone would have hated me because I had to learn a lot of lessons that I'm so grateful that I did not have to learn in the public eye in front of millions of people. Like, God did this for me for a reason, you know? And he's just a great example of that, where it's like your path as an artist, you know, sometimes doesn't look like everybody else's. And maybe it's because you're meant to not only do your music, but also like just spread a message of, you know, like, it's okay if your path is maybe a little bit more difficult, or you have to jump through a lot of extra hoops, or you have a lot of people who don't necessarily believe in you or fuck with you, and you kind of have to like get it from the ground up and do it all on your own and prove a fuck ton of people wrong. And he's a really big proponent of that. And I just really heavily relate. So I fucking love him. And then Russ is another one that I just think is so inspiring. He has the whole do-it-yourself mentality. And I love that he's preaching that you don't need a label. I'm getting further and further away from thinking that I need a label. Also, the more you do on your own, the more you're like protective. You're like, why would I let you stick your hand in this after I have put in blood, sweat, and tears and drained my bank account countless times for my career, for then you to come in and get a huge percentage of it? Why? Because you're going to tell me to make a bunch of TikToks and like maybe connect me with some people that probably won't even follow through at the end of the day. Like, it's just, I'm just starting to see like, it really doesn't matter if you don't have that, because it seems like a lot of what they're telling their artists, you know, that they are backing is what I'm already doing. So he's really anti-label. And I like that because I just don't really think that it's that necessary nowadays. And I also think that there's a trend happening, which are very powerful. Like once the internet gets on board with something happening, like this whole independence wave with artists, that's who they're going to ride for. Like they're going to ride for the independent artists because they know how fucked the music industry is. It's no secret anymore. Like the secret's out. These labels are evil a lot of the times and taking so much fucking money from artists. And even the artists that are getting these $3 million deals, like that's not your money. Like you're paying that all back for the rest of your life. And I won't deny the slingshot effect that like labels can have, but they usually don't pull that trigger until the artist kind of like does something that pops them off themselves and catches fire. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I'm sure like a lot of signed artists would have an argument for this, but I believe Russ because he's been through both and he's done both. So those are my two artists that really influenced me. And Post Malone because I love him. I love his music and his vibe. Can you please go on tour and make a stop in Boston? So on that note, yeah, I am definitely going on tour this year. I don't fucking know how it's going to happen, to be completely honest with you, but I've never known how anything was going to happen. And it always does. It always works out because that is the beautiful part about my journey that I'm on. I just got to kind of trust and have faith. And I have no doubt that I will be on a tour this year, even if it's completely independent and self-funded. If there's one thing that I've proven to myself, it's that I can do shit on my own. So, I mean, not on my own fully, but like, I feel like I can make it happen even if I didn't have a booking agent or like a label or an investor or anything. So yeah, I'll be on tour this year no matter what. And I have a little bit of a deadline that I'm giving myself with just opening up my schedule. I'll say that. And it's coming upon me. So yeah, I'm hoping to be traveling and playing original shows, my music by the summer. So what else do we have? Dude, people just say such and it's like my friends, so I can say that. What do you do to overcome stage anxiety? I think this is very prevalent because I just did a show and I kind of analyzed this after because the number one compliment that I got was that I looked really confident on stage. And like, honestly, I am. Like, I'm not confident in like a lot of areas in life, but the stage has always been like, as corny as it is, like home for me. I feel like I'm on drugs when I'm on, like, performing is my favorite drug. And it's hard for me to go to music festivals and concerts because I want to be doing that so badly. Like I'm so just like envious of that experience because it feels so good to me, like the entire process. Even beforehand, like there's that like anxiety, but it's not even anxiety like I can't do this. It's like I'm like bursting, like ready to fucking do this because it is my calling. And like when you're aligned with like whatever you want to call its plan for you, God's plan, universe's plan, like you feel so good. And that's how I feel on stage. And I just love it. Like I want to do it for the rest of my life. It makes me emotional because I love it so much. So, I mean, honestly, like pre-show shot, like I pray before whatever you want to talk to. I actually, when you make it about the audience and about like, please, like, give me everything I need to be able to share my gift to the best ability with these people. Like when you make it about that, it becomes so much less like about you. And then it becomes about the experience for the audience. And then that takes the pressure off you because you're like, I'm just here like to give this audience like a fun time, So I feel like maybe switching the perspective can help too. What's my favorite tattoo? I'm about to get a lot more tattoos and I'm very excited, but my favorite tattoo is this one right here. It says creator. And I love this one because I'm a lot of things. And I feel like sometimes people they can't really understand that, but I am very creative. Like I love everything creative. So I would just call myself a creator. And I feel like that's the most simple term. So I love that tattoo because it's who I am. And I also think that my music note tattoo is funny. I put a music note tattoo on my ring finger very purposefully because I want any one of my 7 husbands that I'm going to have one day to know that music comes first, babe. Also, I put an angel wing on it because it saved my life. So I love that one too. I'm like half kidding about the 7 husbands, but also like I feel like I'm either going to be single for the rest of my life or like I fall in love a lot. So, when did you learn to play guitar? I learned to play guitar when I was 7. And I actually saw my like youth pastor playing guitar on stage at church. And I was like enamored by the way that his like fingers were just like moving across the fretboard. And I was like, I was already into singing. And then I was like, that's what I need to be able to like perform fully, is to be able to accompany myself. I'm so glad I learned when I was 7 because it's hard to learn skills as an adult. It's not impossible, guys. And I'm currently learning a new skill. I'm learning lead guitar and I'm learning how to produce myself. So it's not impossible, but it's harder, I think. I don't really know why. Maybe because, I don't know, like more self-doubt comes like the older you get, but I am glad I learned young. Let's just say that. What are your favorite brands? My favorite brands, I'm not really a big like expensive designer brand kind of girl. I like cool clothes. I like Jaded London. Maybe I'm biased because my name's in it. But Jaded London, what did we just order from? I don't know. Like my stylist knows more brands than I do. I really just like a lot of streetwear stuff, That's kind of my style. Like blanking on that, but once I start working with some brands, I'll let you know. Hey, I should actually mention a brand. I did my first brand deal. So cool. Booty Parlor. That'll be dropping tomorrow, the video that I did for them, but they have like a line of perfumes that interact with your pheromones. And I thought it was like a perfect fit because my first ever single is called Pheromones. And they're so like about woman empowerment, like owning your sensuality. And like we just like clicked so well. And it was just so encouraging to find a brand that like really like accepted and loved me for like every part of me. And I just am really hopeful about the future with brand partnerships because it's really exciting. Obviously, like it's taken me a minute to be able to get to that place. So shout out to Booty Parlor. What else? Okay. That's sweet. What motivates you every day to keep going with your awesomeness? Thank you for that. I think just wanting to have like an awesome life, you know, like I want to have a really, really like insane life. And I want to look back and be like, wow, like you really did everything that you possibly could and that you ever dreamed of doing. And I think that living it to the fullest extent and like having the most extravagant experiences, like why would you not want to do that, you know? Even though like it's risky, I guess, but like it's really not, because once you're all in, like you're all in, you know? Um so I'm just really motivated by like showing others that they can just create their own life path and have a really successful and fulfilled life. So it's really motivating. And just like, I just have this thing inside me, you know, this like fire to just like prove to myself that I could do whatever the fuck I want. So, um, are you going to write more songs? Of course. God, everybody's on me about this lately. Yes, I'm going to write more songs. I'm actually like probably just going to hole up in March and April and just kind of work on a lot of music, because apparently that's what everybody needs from me in order to connect me and do the next steps for my career. I'm like, guys, like I'm an independent artist. Like I don't have just all this like studio time. Like I'm not like able to sit in the studio, you know, from 12 p.m. noon to 5 a.m. in the morning, like signed artist. But I'm doing, you know, the most I can. But I guess I'm just gonna kind of like up my studio time and, like I said, just kind of gather a lot of songs together. Where are you from? How old are you? I'm from Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Pressing ass town. It's right next to Scranton. And I'm 26. 26, and I'm a Taurus. Was born May 3rd. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else besides this last question. Okay, cool. So I think Okay, this last question. Do you believe in God? Are you religious? If you can't tell, I do believe in God. Religious, though, I think is like a super interesting word. And I was thinking about this today when I got this question, because it's just kind of nice to have a place to be able to talk where I'm like not going to get berated with an instant, like, you know, argumentative viewpoint. And maybe like people will just listen to my perspective on this, because I think it's such a shame that religion takes away from spirituality for people, because religion is man-made. Okay. So the Bible was man-made. And although there's a lot of, you know, godly influence in that, there's a lot of like shit that I don't fuck with and I don't believe in. And like, I want to make that very, 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 very clear. But to me, like, that's not God, you know? God is all encompassing. It's all loving and it's all energetic. And like the weird like rules and, you know, all the weirdness in the Bible that everybody's like super turned off by, I get it, because like same. Like I'm not over here reading my Bible. But I do find it really interesting how like many similarities there are in religion and in just general spirituality, that like everybody is like on this wave right now, right? It's almost like a second coming of like, I guess, like God and like spirituality, because I mean, I don't know if it's just my TikTok, but I feel like there's just so many people waking up to the fact that like there's more happening that like we can't really wrap our minds around. And that doesn't have anything to do with the church and like the man-made, you know, rules. So I'm super, super spiritual. Like I've always been very connected with God and universe, anything. Like since I was young, I actually like can remember when I was really young being very aware of this thing. Like, it's actually kind of eerie to think about how spiritual I was as a child. And I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but like, I can't really like put my finger on it, but I just like knew that I was like never alone. And I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but if anybody else like can relate to this, but like time was really trippy to me when I was little. Like just so many things like almost reminded me of like Interstellar, I feel like, in my childhood. But as I like grew up, you know, we were going to church as a family, and things happened in my church that were so like, you know, human, and like kind of, if you depended too much on the religion itself, I feel like could really turn somebody off. But I always felt like I believed that there was more. So I feel bad that like a lot of people have had really nasty negative experience with the church, because that's not God, you know? Like that's just not. And I hate that for people. And I'm reading this book. I brought it because I wanted to just read this little part of it. I love reading, guys. All right. I'm a nerd and I like all these kind of books. But it's Rick Rubin. He just put this book out. If you don't know who Rick Rubin is, he is probably the biggest producer in the world, I would say, or one of them. Very, very, very spiritual. And just like a really cool dude. And his perspective is incredible on creativity and music and just life. So this book is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And like, I read this today and I was like, how funny is it that I got this question? Because this is exactly how I feel. So I'm going to just read this to you guys. Everybody sit down, cross your legs in a circle, get comfortable. Remember when we were in school and that was like the most relaxing time? Your friend would like scratch your back and like play with your hair. Maybe that was just me and my friends, but I miss that. Okay, so The Unseen. So this book is super cool because it's very short little, it's like poetic little 2-page chapters. So I'm just going to read this to you. By conventional definition, the purpose of art is to create physical and digital artifacts to fill shelves with pottery, books, and records. Though artists generally aren't aware of it, that end work is a byproduct of a greater desire. We aren't creating to produce or sell material products. The act of creation is an attempt to enter a mysterious realm, a longing to transcend. What we create allows us to share glimpses of an inner landscape, one that is beyond our understanding. Art is our portal to the unseen world. Without the spiritual component, the artist works with a crucial disadvantage. The spiritual world provides a sense of wonder and a degree of open-mindedness not always found within the confines of science. The world of reason can be narrow and filled with dead ends, while a spiritual viewpoint is limitless and invites fantastic possibilities. The unseen world is boundless. The word spirituality may not speak to those who dwell chiefly in the intellect or those who equate the word with organized religion. If you prefer to think of spirituality as simply believing in connection, that's fine. If you choose to think of it as believing in magic, that's fine too. The things we believe carry a charge, regardless of whether they can be proven or not. The practice of spirituality is a way of looking at a world where you're not alone. There are deeper meanings behind the surface. The energy around you can be harnessed to elevate your work. You are part of something much larger than can be explained, a world of immense possibilities. Harnessing this energy can be marvelously useful in your creative pursuits. The principle operates on faith, believing and behaving as if it's true. No proof is needed. When you're working on a project, you may notice apparent coincidences appearing more often than randomness allows, almost as if there is another hand guiding yours in a certain direction, as if there is an inner knowing gently informing your movements. Faith allows you to trust the direction without needing to understand it. Pay particular attention to the moments that take your breath away. A beautiful sunset, an unusual eye color, a moving piece of music, the elegant design of a complex machine. If a piece of work, a fragment of consciousness, or an element of nature is somehow allowing us to access something bigger, that is its spiritual component made manifest. It awards us a glimpse of the unseen. I mean, I have chills and I'm tearing up because it's so true. Like, it's more than religion or like God or these rules or everything. It's like allowing yourself to just believe that maybe we don't know everything and maybe there is something greater at play that has like the most beautiful plan for us and is always guiding us and is always there is like so comforting. Like, why not? You know, we don't know, so why not? And I get that people have had really dark, horrible things happen to them having to do with religion and church and faith. And I'm sorry for that. But I don't think that that is the God that I believe in. So that's my answer on that. And I hope you guys can understand where I'm coming from. I know I probably can never understand other perspectives maybe, but that's just where I'm at. So this book is fucking amazing if you can't tell. I hope you guys check it out. But I think that's where I'm going to wrap up today, guys. I had this card game here in order for us to like get deep, but I kind of feel like we just did. But this card game is awesome. We're not really strangers, and I plan to play it with you guys throughout these episodes and maybe with some of my guests even just to kind of, you know, get a level deeper with everybody who's on the show. So that's why this is there. Shout out, We're Not Really Strangers. Great game. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this solo episode. I love solo episodes. This whole point of the podcast, like I've said a million times, is for us to connect one-on-one, just for you guys to get to know who I am beyond the green hair and the Instagrams and the TikToks and all that. I really just want there to be a safe space for like us to bond. So I hope y'all are enjoying this. I love you guys. I'm excited for this year and I'm excited for this podcast. And if you guys are enjoying it, really just do anything you can to support because I'm trying to grow this and I'm a brand new show. So if you guys could subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the video, comment on it, just interact with it. If you feel passionate about anything that I spoke about today or you want to talk to me about it, you know, the comments, that's what they're there for. Share it with somebody if you feel inspired by it. I love giving the gift of podcasts to my friends and family. And rate the show on the streaming service. And I think that's really it. So listen to my new song, Warzone. Go stream it. And I'll see you guys next week on the next episode of The Green Room with Jade Million. Love you guys. Bye.